For all you OGs, the real ones, let me ask you a question real quick. Do you remember global player count? Do you remember lobby leaderboards? For all you newbies that just started on the franchise with Modern Warfare 2019 or whatever, lobby leaderboards was a feature we used to have in Call of Duty where you joined up on a lobby and you could see the people you were playing with and against. You could see their KD, their score per minute, their win-loss, how much they actually play this game, and you could adjust your loadout accordingly. I used to always do this back in the day. Back in like Black Ops 2, if I joined up in a lobby, I would check the leaderboards and see what type of people I was going to be playing against. If I seen a bunch of 3 KDs in there, 2 KDs in there, well, I knew I was going to be in for a sweaty one, so we might go with our tryhard loadout. I might bump my streaks down a little bit. If I'm up against a bunch of 3 KD players and I'm running dogs and swarm, there's a good chance I'm not going to get those streaks. Or I might get close to them, but they'll kill me 1, 2, 3 kills off my streak. So instead of taking the chance and not earning my streaks to help my team, I might bump them back a little bit. Go with a stealth chopper for my high streak, an escort drone, maybe a VSAT. Lobby leaderboards was beautiful, bro. And now it's gone. I wonder why. I uploaded a commentary about a month ago about skill-based matchmaking, EO matchmaking. When we started to see it in Call of Duty, I broke down every Call of Duty that I've been here for since COD 4. I broke down which ones I felt like did not have skill-based matchmaking. When we started to feel it, and then when we started to see that full-blown skill-based matchmaking, and in that video, I broke down that we started to see it in Advanced Warfare. We first felt it in Black Ops 2, and then they dialed it back. Ghost, it kind of went away in Ghost. Ghost had the same type of matchmaking that Black Ops 2 had after they dialed it back. In Advanced Warfare, that's when skill-based matchmaking started to get really bad, but not as bad as we have it now with the EO matchmaking and all the algorithms. And Ghost was the last time that we had global player count. I used to love jumping on Call of Duty and seeing hundreds of thousands of people playing the game that I was playing. I used to love that shit. I find it very interesting that these features we used to have, all of a sudden now they're just gone. Lobby leaderboards, gone. Global player count, since they introduced skill-based matchmaking, gone. But every single year, year after year, Activision brags about their numbers. They brag about their sales, how many people are playing on a monthly basis, on a daily basis. They're always bragging about this shit. But now we don't see nothing. The only thing we got is the Steam numbers. That's the only reference you got. You go over there to Steam. Most of the people are playing on console, so we have no idea what the actual numbers look like now. But according to Activision, Call of Duty is alive and well. It's better than ever. It keeps selling. People keep playing. There's some extremely simple people out here with room temperature IQ that use this for their argument for skill-based matchmaking. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. I've already made a couple of videos on this individual. I'm not even going to mention his name. Like, there's just... we ain't gonna go there, man. This dude, he's on another planet. He's in another universe. But there are individuals out here who will use this for their argument for skill-based matchmaking, claiming that it works. But wherever you go, whether it's Reddit, comments on YouTube videos, you see a ton of skill-based matchmaking rant videos on YouTube by different creators, or on Twitter, different threads on Twitter. Everywhere you go where people are active and they're engaged with this game, they're complaining about skill-based matchmaking. Even if they didn't, like these dog water Call of Duties that we have gotten over the years, their biggest complaint is skill-based matchmaking. They always say, I would actually enjoy this game a little bit more if they tone back the skill-based matchmaking because it's just too much, dude. And every year, the matchmaking gets thicker, it gets worse. For every 50 to 100 comments or posts that I see hating on skill-based matchmaking, they can't stand it in this game, you'll have 1 or 2 morons claiming that it's good, right? And we already know what these people are. They're the trash cans that know they're being protected by it. They're too scared to get the little feelings hurt by being beaten in a video game. They're comfortable in that protected bracket. But even the people who tell me they're casuals, they'll break down their statistics. They'll be like, hey, Gilly, I've always been like a 0.8 KD player. I've never been good. I can't stand the matchmaking in this game. And you got to keep in mind, we got a ranked mode coming, and this is what the matchmaking is in regular pubs. You don't have any other option. The only option you have is to sweat your motherfucking ass off pretty much every single game until you get your ass handed to you a bunch of games in a row. Then you'll get a lobby where you can breathe a little bit, but you have no option to play casually. You have pubs, which is ranked. Actually, I would probably say even sweatier than ranked. And then you have ranked. So it's like you only have competitive. There's no other option there. All you did was give them money by buying their game. They signed you up for these pro tournaments without your consent. Now, at the time of recording this commentary, Sledgehammer Games is having a little Ask Me Anything later on today. And apparently the number one thing that they're being asked is skill-based matchmaking. Can they remove it? Why is it here? Can you tone it back a little bit? And we just heard the other day from that YouTuber that had the interview with the Sledgehammer dev, and Activision warned that YouTuber they cannot ask about skill-based matchmaking. Now, this is something I've been wondering for years. And after hearing that about that YouTuber that cannot ask about skill-based matchmaking to that Sledgehammer dev, now I gotta ask you a question, Activision. What is up with all this secrecy? If skill-based matchmaking is so good and it makes you so much money, how come you won't talk about it? If player retention is so good with your games now since you introduced this skill-based matchmaking with the EO matchmaking, how come no one's allowed to ask you about it? Your devs are on lockdown with this shit. They can't comment on it, period. If we ever get a dev to speak on anything, they will not speak on skill-based matchmaking. I think the last time we heard a dev speak on it, who was actually working for Call of Duty at that time, was Vaughn when he was talking about ranked play, league play in Black Ops 2. Nobody will talk about it. None of the devs, none of you over there at Activision, nobody will talk about it. But apparently, player retention is better than it's ever been. If this matchmaking was so good for player retention, you would be more than willing and open to talk about it. Its parameters, exactly how it works, why it needs to be so tight in regular pubs. But you won't say shit. You won't talk about it, man. Everything's a mystery. Everything is a secret. You won't talk about it. Everybody's under an NDA. But everybody out here on the socials, everybody who's engaged with your game, absolutely hates your matchmaking. They despise the matchmaking in Call of Duty, and they let you know every single day of every year with every new game. They tell you how much they hate skill-based matchmaking. They ask for it to be removed or at least toned down, and you don't say shit. You don't acknowledge it. The loyal ones that have been paying your bills for years, you can't even acknowledge the thing that they hate the most about your game. They keep buying it, and you just keep ignoring them. Why? Because you know the cash cow players that are trash cans at your game. The whales in that protected bracket. You need to keep them super protected in case they get their feelings. Heaven forbid they run into one good player on the other team. Because with connection-based matchmaking, they're not going to be finding entire stack teams to go against. They're not going to get beasted by a 6-stack. They're going to see one strong player on the other team, maybe two. Like connection-based matchmaking, man, when we had it back in the day, it didn't work like that, dude. They might see one or two good players. Heaven forbid they run into one or two good players, though, and get their little feelings hurt. You need them to stay on the game, right? And when they stay on the game, there's a better chance they're buying bundles. Overpriced, cringe as fuck bundles. Bundles that you know you're overcharging for. There's no real substance there. You're selling a fucking skin for a first-person shooter for basically half the cost of a full-price AAA game. You know these whales, when they're staying on the game, there's a better chance they're going to buy that bitch-ass bundle, buy this other bundle, buy the battle pass. When they're on the game, there's a better chance they're buying shit. And it all comes at the cost of your loyals. The ones that have stayed faithful to this franchise. They keep paying your bills and making you an insane amount of money. It comes at the cost of them. When all they want is just better connections, dude. More fair gunfights. They don't want to wait forever to get into a game just because you're looking for the sweatiest players that are close to their skill level across the globe. They just want to see some organic lobbies again in Call of Duty with variety in there. They don't want to play against the same type of player every single game using the same guns, the same perks, the same streaks. Everything is the same. While they're being signed up for a professional tournament every single time they log on just because they bought a game. They did not sign up for that professional tournament. You forced them into it. There's no option to play the game the way that they want to play it. Just chill out and play some multiplayer. They can't do that. See, a lot of these nerds think that we don't want skill-based matchmaking because we don't want to face competition. We just want to beat up on bots, on noobs. Dude, let me tell you, as somebody who's been around a little over 2 KD player for most of my Call of Duty quote-unquote career, now that's me rushing around, not trying my hardest, just kind of playing at my own pace. I've been around a 2 KD player. Dude, beating on noobs and bots every single game would be boring as fuck. Even if they completely removed skill-based matchmaking, it doesn't guarantee you noob lobbies. It doesn't guarantee you bot lobbies. There's variety there. You're going to see a strong player or 2 on the other team, maybe 3. One game you might go up against a 6-stack. The next game you might go up against an entire team of noobs. Most of the time you're going to see a couple strong players on the other team, a couple of average to solid players, and maybe a couple of shitters to balance out the lobby. You're not guaranteed new lobbies, but I don't even want skill-based matchmaking removed. You got to keep a light form of it there to protect those people who are handicapped, who have disabilities, and they can't play the game like that. Of course, you need to protect those people. The rest of us, we should just be thrown into Gen Pop, connection-based matchmaking. You have the most fair gunfights, you have the best connection, may the best man win. And those people who are a little weaker at the game, they're going to get better at the game the same way we all did. Getting our ass whipped a little bit. You watch a better player than you, see how they made plays, how they handled certain situations, and then they'll get a mix. They'll get a lobby where they get to pub stop a little bit. Put into practice what they just learned the previous lobby from a better player. And guess what, Activision? Everybody's happy because they have a good connection. But you're too busy removing features that people loved in Call of Duty. You're hiding the lobby leaderboards. You hide the global player count, even though apparently player retention is higher than it's ever been. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on that next one.